Speak Up English, the key to success.
Lily, have you noticed how vibrant the flowers are in the park these days?
Oh, absolutely, Thomas. It's like they're showing off their colors to the world.
You know, there's a saying that goes, happiness radiates like the fragrance from a flower and draws all good things towards you.
That's a beautiful thought. Flowers do have this magical way of making us feel happier.
It's like nature's artwork, don't you think? Each petal, every color, it's all part of the masterpiece.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes I just sit in the park and admire the flowers. It's so peaceful.
You're like a flower connoisseur, Lily. Do you have a favorite?
It's hard to pick just one. But if I had to, I'd say sunflowers. They're like a burst of sunshine on a stem.
Sunflowers are amazing. I like tulips myself. Their shape is so elegant.
Tulips are lovely too. You know, there's a language of flowers. Each one has a meaning.
Really? So, what does a sunflower mean?
Sunflowers symbolize adoration, loyalty, and longevity.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's like they're nature's message of love and friendship.
And what about tulips? What do they mean in the language of flowers?
Tulips represent perfect love. So, if you ever get a tulip bouquet, it's someone saying you're perfect to them.
That's so sweet. Flowers can be so much more than just pretty decorations.
Absolutely. They're like little messengers of emotions and sentiments.
Speaking of flowers, I remember a funny joke. Why did the gardener plant a light bulb?
Why did the gardener plant a light bulb? I don't know. Why?
Because he wanted to grow a power plant.
Haha, that's a good one, Lily. Gardening humor.
I'm glad you liked it, Thomas. So, do you have any favorite flowers that you'd like to grow someday?
I think I'd like to have a garden with a mix of tulips, sunflowers, and some roses. What about you?
Oh, that sounds lovely. I'd add some lavender for that calming aroma. Well, Thomas, you'll have to come over to my garden someday.
I'd love that, Lily. It'll be like visiting a real-life piece of paradise. Lily, speaking of flowers and gardens, have you ever tried your hand at gardening?
You know, Thomas, I dabbled in it a bit. I have a small balcony garden at my apartment with some potted plants.
That's wonderful. Balcony gardens can be so charming. What do you grow there?
Well, I have some herbs like basil and mint. It's so handy when I'm cooking. And there's a little rose bush too.
I can imagine your balcony must be filled with lovely fragrances. How about you? Any green thumb aspirations?
I'd love to have a bigger garden someday. Maybe a vegetable patch. Imagine plucking your own fresh tomatoes and cucumbers for salads.
That sounds amazing. Homegrown vegetables taste so much better. You'd be your own farmer, Lily.
Haha, I like the idea of that. What about you, Thomas? Would you like a garden like that?
Absolutely. Imagine having a little corner with a hammock surrounded by greenery. It'd be the perfect place to read a book.
That does sound like a dream. A garden can be your escape from the world.
You're right. It's a place where you can connect with nature and relax. Speaking of books, do you like to read in your free time?
Oh, I do. I often read in my little garden nook. Do you enjoy reading too?
I'm a bit of a bookworm, Lily. I love getting lost in different worlds through stories.
Any favorite book or genre?
It's hard to pick one, but I'm a fan of classic literature. I can get lost in the pages of a Jane Austen novel.
Oh, Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is a timeless classic. Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet's love story is so captivating.
You've got great taste in books, Lily. Austen's novels are all about wit, charm, and love.
And what about you, Thomas? Any book recommendations for me?
How about a light and heartwarming read? The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's a beautiful tale of the magic of nature.
That sounds lovely. I'll definitely check it out. Thanks, Thomas.
You're welcome. Maybe we can exchange book recommendations more often.
That would be great, Thomas. Sharing book suggestions is like sharing a piece of your soul.
Lily, speaking of well-tended gardens and shared books, have you ever thought about combining the two?
You mean like a garden with literary elements?
Exactly. I've seen people create beautiful reading nooks in their gardens or backyards. It's the best of both worlds, nature and books.
That's a brilliant idea, Thomas. Imagine reading a book under the shade of a tree with a gentle breeze and the sound of birds in the background.
It's a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of life. Plus, you can have some fragrant flowers nearby to add to the atmosphere.
What about a dedicated garden library, Thomas? Rows of bookshelves among the flowers and trees.
You're reading my mind, Lily. It's a bibliophile's dream. We could have cozy benches for reading, too.
Oh, yes. And maybe a little fountain to create a soothing ambience.